In this video, we're going to be making an intake manifold for my custom L300 Delica van. It's got 40-inch tires. It's got a 4G63 and a 4G64 block. So this makes it a 4G63, same as what you'd find in the Evos, except it's a 2.4 litre, which is going to give me that extra torque, that extra power. It also makes the conversion much easier because this block is more so designed to bolt up to my factory gearbox. Because a lot of people in the last video were asking if it's still four-wheel drive, like what I've done about the gearbox and things like that. So the bottom half of this engine is basically stock, apart from some modifications just to take the turbo and things like that. But this video is about this intake manifold, so let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I'll show you guys what I've got. So I've got the flange, which is for the cold side of the engine, the intake side, obviously. This is 12mm thick alloy. Then we've got this, which is for the intake butterfly. This is also 12mm. And then we've got the butterfly, which is like a couple mils bigger than 3-inch. I want a 3-inch, but they're a little bit bigger than 3-inch, just a touch. It's like tiniest bit. And then I've got this, which is 4mm. So this is a sheet of alloy. I was going to go down the path because I looked online how to make these, well, how other people make these, and some people do pipe, half-cut pipe sort of thing on some areas and then flats. I've got a folder, so I'm going to make the most out of my folder, and I'm going to fold everything and not buy pipe, and also it's going to reduce a lot of welding. And then this is the space I've got to make this. The main reason I'm actually making one, or was always going to make one from the get-go, was because this is a front-wheel drive engine. Of course, these are in the Lancers. No, this exact one is out of a Galant, but they're also in the Lancers. These engines are actually in everything. But most of them front-wheel drive, and it heads out that way, the intake. So the intake goes out that way. We want it to come out this way because this is in a rear-wheel drive setup. And of course, this is a lot more performance-based, so the old one probably wouldn't have worked anyway. But I've cut this piece of cardboard, so it's going to have the intake manifold flange on there, and then I'm going to have little short runners. Okay, so this is a piece of TIG wire that I've just bent to get the shape, and this is what I think I'm going to do. So of course, I'll measure it up and get that one, and that one all the same. So it's like straight and all round, and then measure it up on this, and then actually fold this to that shape. But I think that's going to work perfectly. It will be slightly angled. Which way will it be angled? That way. But it doesn't really matter, and then I'll probably bend this up for the other side, and this will sort of go into there. I'll show you guys what I mean when I get at that. Okay, so I showed you guys this before, which is what I bent up, and that's going to be like the shape of the manifold. And then when that shape is the manifold, it's going to have the bend there and a bend here. So obviously, the template itself is going to need to be longer, but the actual piece is only going to be like this deep, this long and stuff. So I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to put that in the car. So this is what I call CAD, because I can't afford the real CAD and don't know how to use it. So cardboard aid design. So I've made the complete entire manifold that I want out of alloy out of cardboard, and then I can fit this up, make sure it's going to work and everything like that. And if it doesn't work, and if it is wrong, it doesn't matter, because cardboard is as cheap as chips. I buy entire rolls of this stuff. I have said on my YouTube channel before, but if you're new, it's literally just flooring protective paper board, or whatever you want to call it. You buy it in massive rolls, and yeah, it's thick enough. I've tried a few different things, but this is just thick enough to use for this kind of stuff, and it's cheap. Okay, so hopefully you can see a lot better. I had a light sitting there, I just didn't turn it on. So that sits in right there. So that looks really good. This part here sort of comes in, so it's going to sit directly in there. So I've pulled apart my cardboard template that you guys would have seen, and then I traced it but most of it was from measurements really. Like getting all 3 of these, well 4 of these measurements the same, and then these, and then identical. So that's it scribed out there. That little triangle piece, oh, I don't know where I put that. That little triangle piece is one of the back pieces, so I'm trying to save as much space as I can, and that's half the reason why I made all these pieces in cardboard, is so that I can actually like place them around the place. Just try and save the most alloy possible. I've got more than enough alloy for this manifold, like I'm only going to use half of it, but if I can, like I want to use this for a lot of other things, like mounts for the intercooler, to the radiator, even maybe mounts on the radiator, because a few things are going to be alloy inside the engine bay. I'm probably going to get more alloy, but I want to use the most out of this as possible. Alright, so I've cut this bit out. You'll be able to see under the right light the lines that I've scribed into it. I do need to trim it up more, but I'm going to do that when it's in shape, because you'll notice like this should be cut across there and stuff like that. But I don't want to get it perfect yet. I'll do it when it's bent up into shape, because just in case it doesn't all fit up nicely, I may need to trim some areas and change some places, because cardboard is obviously not as rigid as alloy. Alright, so this is the start to it, so I just bent every single line, and because of the thickness it's actually rolled around quite nice. There's no sharp corners. Now I'm doing this, so basically I'm just going to put this in the drill, and see how I've put crosses everywhere? So every corner I'm going to drill out, and then I'll cut lines between them, and then I'll just sort of die grind and use my other angle grinder and just make these perfectly the same size as the flange. I think I mentioned I was going to do a round and then just squash them into squares, but I read that's not the way to go. So apparently if you change shape from square to circle, it actually makes a massive difference and you lose horsepower by a lot and airflow. Okay, so you can probably see I drilled 4 holes in the corner and then cut off the angle grinder down the center of each one. Now I'm just going to use my Dremel bit and die grind all these out to that perfect shape. Exactly the same as, where is it, that one? So you see me fold this up, then I needed to weld some sections to hold it together. And that's my first ever alloy weld with this machine. Now I've done a little bit in the past, but I think I did alright. So like I mentioned, this is pretty much my first time really TIGging. I brought my first TIG, this is the first time using this machine. I've done a tiny bit of TIGging in the past at previous workplaces with like their welders. Never stainless, which was my manifold, which I did last time, and then a little bit at alloy. I was a little bit better at alloy than I was stainless, but I haven't touched a TIG for, I've had my own business for 2 years, haven't owned a TIG. Before that, it'd be easy 4 years since I've touched a TIG, so it's been a wee while. I've got to relearn the little part that I learned previously, and yeah, I've kind of got no one to show me either. But I have got a mate who's pretty good at TIG welding, and I got him to sort of like check my machine and set it up. My machine's quite fancy, so it is a little bit confusing to set up, but once I get it going, it's actually really, really good, and I love it. So yeah, we'll see how good I can get through once I do a bunch more stuff, and hopefully I can get pretty good at TIG welding, because I'm going to do the exhaust on this and things like that, so that's going to be all TIG welding. And then my plan is to learn as much as I can on this van, because this van, I can practice things on it and it's not the end of the world. But my Land Cruiser, my 6-wheel drive with the V12 in it, I want that to be perfect. So all the snorkels, all the engine bay components and everything, I want really nice welds on all that stuff. So hopefully by the time I get to that, I'm going to be a lot better at TIGging, and I'm going to do a similar intake manifold, but this thing's going to be on top, like a top plenum, because I've got the ITBs. So this whole van is actually a big learning experience that I'm going to then use on the Land Cruiser.
When I see you dancing, I know you're a damn. It's some kind of magic. We both know it right away. I came here to party, don't want it to end. Getting real ecstatic. We both know it right away. I can't seem to deal with this. You try so hard to pull me in. I came here to party, don't want it to end. Getting real ecstatic.
Guys, I knew this was coming up, and I wasn't too concerned because I'm going to sand all this back. You can see I was welding up here, and then I got to here, and it ran out of gas, and then that's why I made that horrible sort of black burn because it had no gas protecting it. But I tigged up there. I put a TIG across there, the corner.
I've been dead in water for some time, picking up the parts of all my life. Didn't get to solve.
So this is the flange that bolts the engine itself. So what I'm trying to do is make these and this identical, and then I will make a tube with that shape, which I'll show you guys next, to go in between here, so that when the air flows, which side? When the air flows in here, and then it goes through this channel, and this channel, and this channel, and this channel evenly, they'll all be the same size, and there'll be no restrictions, or like, you know, at the moment it's like this.
Inside of me, you better watch out. If your enemy's a road ahead, a full prophecy to be the greatest beat the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets cause real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, handling the score, never getting bored. Tons of blood and gold, always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel it for their body. And if you start shit, you'll be hard lived in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped to be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened, and if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. When there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
Okay, so what I've made is one of the runners for the air intake. I did make this one here. That's the first one I made. It wasn't quite big enough, just the measurements that I didn't take into consideration both thicknesses of steel, and then this fact that it sort of, I want it to sit on the dead outside so that this is smooth, and then as you can see this is not. So then I redid my measurements and I did this. So you watch me fold it. Basically goes like this, and it's got a fold there and then a fold there. So this kind of rounds just because it's a 4mm plate. It makes it quite rounded rather than tight folds. And then it rounds around and rounds around, and then obviously I'm going to have to weld here and here because I can't fold that whole thing up in a folder. So it's two pieces, and then I beveled both the sides, as you can, I don't know if you can see, but it's thin in the middle here and then thick on the outside, so then I'll be able to get a decent weld on it. So I'll obviously weld all these together and then weld them on like this, and then I'll weld them all onto the plate. And although I don't mind the look of welds, I'm going to leave them though, but they'll be, all the welds will be in the centers, so like you won't really see them, and then I've just got to weld the rest on. That's the plan anyway. So I've got to make, well, 4 of these, but like essentially 8 halves like this, and these are all 60mm, where I also looked up and researched about different lengths and runners. So different lengths and runners, the longer they are, apparently the more torque you get, and the shorter they are, the more horsepower you get. But I just kind of did them the longest-ish I could until it was too wide and didn't really fit. And I didn't want them too short, like I didn't want them like this short, but I just did mine pretty much standard length to manifolds you buy. And also, when this is like this and when this is like this, the edge of the throttle body isn't gonna hit the edge of the chassis rail. So I guess I'm gonna make 8 of these.
last night. Maybe I can make it right. Sit down closer, baby. We can talk about it. No need to be mad. Hate to see you say. Yes, I know I'm crazy, crazy about you, crazy about you.
I know I'm upset sometimes. I know I get drunk some nights. I know I get way too high. I just wanna live it up with you. I know that it might be tense. I know when you're telling that. It's just how I show my love. Now you cannot live it up with you. I'm upset sometimes. I know I get drunk some nights. I know I get way too high. I just wanna live it up with you. Darling, can I live it up with you?
Well, unfortunately, that's going to be the end of tigging, at least today. I think it got too hot and cracked. This is the tip that come with it. Apparently they're not very good anyway. So I'm going to have to get a new tip for it. Maybe tomorrow. I might just... I haven't worked on this for like over a week, probably like 2 weeks, so I got sick for a week, and then I told you guys I broke the tip on my TIG. Well, we now have a bunch of tips for the TIG, and then there's also the like back handle thing. I got 2 of those different sizes. I'll show you guys what I mean by those shortly. But what I want to do is sand up these like really nice with my orbital sander. But I have a problem because I can't find that orbital sander. I don't know where it is. I think in my head, I feel like I loaned it to somebody, but I don't know who. I can't figure out who. And like the people that I thought maybe I might have, I've messaged them and they don't have it. And I don't know where it is. I've been looking for this thing for like a month and I can't find it. I've tipped my whole workshop upside down. I've rearranged I got rid of one of the cars that were in here, and my 2 cars, I've like moved them all around, searched the whole place, and I just can't find it. It makes no sense. So I think I'm just gonna have to buy one, which is really annoying, that it is what it is, because I really can't go much further on this until I buy that, because I want to make this all look uniform, and then these go on here. So basically, like, if I don't sand them and make them look uniform now, there's no way I can do it when it's all welded together, because it'll just be too late, and then I'll always look at it and just be like, I regret not doing that. So I'm gonna go buy another orbital sander. I think they're only like $100 and something, but it's still really annoying. But like in between getting sick and then the TIG end breaking, I ended up starting the rear bar because I love this like kind of thing. I love building bumpers, and I wanted to do something. So I started this. This will be next week's video, or maybe even sooner than next week. I want to try and make as many videos as constantly as possible as I can, hopefully, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this is looking really, really good. That tire is like strapped up at the moment, but we'll be tire carrier and heaps to come on that, so that excites me. Keep an eye out for that. Got it. So this is pretty much exactly what I had. I reckon now that I've gone and brought this, my one's going to turn up. Yeah, so that's sanded up. I guess that's kind of the look I was going for, because I still don't know if I'm going to keep this silver or paint it. I'm actually thinking I'm going to paint it, because everything else on the vehicle is going to be tan painted or blacked out. Engine, I'm probably going to do the same thing. But yeah, I guess I'm going to do this for each one, and then I'm actually going to cut this off. I welded it just there and there and there and there, but I will cut it off, because then I can weld these to it, and then actually like clean them up with the die grinder, like this part. I think it's the best thing to do.
Ain't no love like a real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay to my mom life, sending no rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger.
Okay, so I've got all these done. So these are all nicely welded and sanded. So they're all good, and as you can see inside there, I've also die grinded everything so it's all nice and smooth. So I'm going to put all these in its place, and then I think I'm going to tack them all on. So tack them to this, and then actually tack this to this as well. And the reason I'm doing it like that is because this here you can see is only tacked on. I'm going to leave it like that, and then I'm going to weld these two together, and then I'm actually going to cut these welds here and take this top piece off, and then I can like die grind in here, make it all smooth so the air will nicely go in, and then I can weld like all the way around here. So that's the plan. If I get it in and everything like that, everything tacked together, knowing that the way it is going to fit in the van, I'm going to pull the engine out of the van at some point, basically after I finish this, I'd say, because I'm going to paint the engine bay as well, and I'm going to paint the engine and spruce up all the engine. And there's also, oh, what I've done with it, the engine's over there. I've also got to change heaps of things because now it's twin cam, used to be single cam. I've got to drill holes in the sump because it's obviously turbo, and like a bunch of things like that, which is going to be 1,000 times easier to do out of the vehicle. But I need to get this kind of stuff. So the manifold was first, obviously, and then this kind of stuff, the intake manifold. As long as it fits in the box, well, the engine box compartment or whatever you want to call it, that's all I need to know. That's sweet, and then I can finish everything else because it's the main thing because we don't have a lot of room to play with.
Making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. Making me stronger. Making me
So you watch me weld all these together, and it's still a little bit warm. I've left it for a while. It's not hot, but it's still a little bit warm. And if you look at this, you can see there's a tiny little gap at the front, or front, back, each end, whatever you want to call it. See how it's like bowing slightly? And that's not a lot. They was just tacking all those in. So you can imagine what it's going to do if I was to weld the whole thing, and especially if I was to weld this on. I will weld this on, but I'm only going to just tack probably one of the center ones, because then when I do bolt it onto the car, it's obviously going to straighten out, and it's not going to be a problem. But if I was to anchor like here and here, and then try bolt it on the car, it will be a problem. So that's why I'm doing it on the car. I also did the exhaust manifold on the car. Wasn't quite as bad because aluminium's a lot softer and gets a lot hotter, but it would be like this if I didn't, and there's no way you could sand or mill enough off to fix that. It'd just be a throwaway. So this is why I'm doing it on the car, and this is why I want to do it with the engine out and all that kind of thing, just to make it easier and so it's proper. So after I did that, actually, this is a much better way of doing it. Just putting it in my vice, actually standing it up like this and then doing it. So I put tack on bottom, tack on the top, and now it's time to actually go try it in the van. So the moment of truth. And like that, it fits perfectly. This is here, so the cable, I'm gonna definitely need a longer cable because the cable doesn't reach to where it needs to go because the factory one of these was like right up on top here, I believe, because it used to cross over, and then the airbox was on that side, used to cross over top. So this is like that. So I'm going to have the cable so it pulls from underneath here and mounts like in the bottom here and then goes around the back. And then this all clears, everything clears pretty good under there. There's a decent gap because the motor will torque. Which way will it torque? I can't remember. The motor will torque anyway over. So nothing should hit. Even if it does, I can take away part of this. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. But basically it's like, don't worry. Anyway, and then the pipe will come in here and around and then to the front mount intercooler. But let me know in the comments, should I paint this alloy piece black? Kind of similar to this. Should I paint the whole thing black? Like gloss black? This is obviously going to go tan, the same color as the exterior of the vehicle. The turbo, I don't know, I might leave that the way it is. Or I might paint it tan, or I might paint it black. Drop in the comments what I should do there as well. These cams are going to be the same color as the wastegates. So they're, I'll put them on later on. So they're red adjustable cams, because I've mentioned before, this is a 2.4 litre block with a 2 litre head. So you actually got to change the cam slightly, just because the belt and things like that, it puts it out. Which I've read about all that on like forums and Facebook pages and everything like that. That's what they do to fix that, and they run great. I'm probably going to get a new one of these, which will be, I don't know, maybe just alloy or red. And there'll be like a red theme in here. Because of course like my logo's red, but the car itself will be tan, and then like some accessories will be red. Because on the bride's seats, I don't know if I'd show you guys these yet, but you can see the Lomax is also in red. This is the plan anyway. And if the next video isn't pulling the engine out, it's definitely going to be this rear bar, because as you can see, it's coming along pretty nicely. So it's rear bar, rock sliders, rear, I don't know what you call it, like swing out rack kind of system with obviously a spare tire on it, 2 jerry cans, high lift, and a bunch of stuff on the back here. I got roof racks to make, I got tube fenders all the way around, so there's lots to come. So please subscribe and keep an eye out, and there'll be videos coming more than there used to be. Because if you made it this far in the video, I might send you one of these bottle opener key rings, which is right there, $25 of value. I'll send you a air freshener, I'll send you a raspberry one, and I'll also send a black ice one. So that's 3 items. That's what, $45 of value plus shipping that I'll send out to the best comments. So it might be just some kind words, it might be some helpful tips, it might be what you think I should do, like your input in the build. Could be anything. It could be just let me know your favorite YouTube video on my entire page. I'll pick the best comment, and then I'll comment to that comment to let you know as well. But watch my video next week, and I'll announce the winner. And I don't know, I might be doing this every single week. We'll see. I've got a lot of things I can give away. Of course, I got merch as well. So maybe I give away a couple of t-shirts next week, or just more of these. Let me know in the comments.